No, I'm not going to sing Taylor Swift.
You got to at least explain to me. We're recording? Yeah. You got to at least explain to me why the Taylor Swift.
Simple one. I have a son and a daughter.
So they love it.
Well, my daughter does. My son is into classic rock, metal. Like he's into all
good
of
old
that.
70s, 80s.
Absolutely. Zeppelin, Sabbath.
How do you get two kids so bipolar?
No, my daughter does too. My daughter loves it.
She still likes Taylor?
She loves Taylor. Not only like obsessed with. Like
Taylor's
absolutely.
a manufactured product.
Not even a little bit. You are so wrong. She is 100% as authentic as you can get in this industry. I'm sorry. And not only that, she really does an incredible job of bringing women up. And that's what I want for my daughter.
And tearing down men.
Nope. And showing men how they should react.
All right, that's enough about Taylor Swift.
I can talk to her about her all day. I'm good.
You know what? Keep that conversation to somebody else that actually respects her. Well, you know what? I'm grouping her up with the whole music industry today.
All right.
It's a manufactured industry.
Yes.
And movies and TV are becoming the same way too. And you and I are both old enough to understand how it was a creative process back then.
Correct.
Right? Like
yes.
We've heard so many stories of this and that, of these artists from the past of who came in and laid it. Like, fuck, man, Eddie Van Halen doing the bass track on Beat It.
Yeah.
And you're like going, like, that's just, I'd love to be in those rooms, you know what I mean? And
back then it was artists playing for artists.
Yeah.
You know, they actually collaborated and did an incredible job doing it.
Today I don't know any, unless you start getting into, who is it? All the blues guys, the guys from down south and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's an incredible genre of indie bands that do an incredible job.
Yeah, and that's what I miss. And I remember back in the 90s, that whole indie rock, like that's not around anymore, really.
It is, but on a much smaller scale.
Yeah.
Me and my son went last week to a concert for Protest the Hero, Canadian band from Whitby. And
I gotta look it up. That's
the problem. They're an incredible band. They're a metal band.
They signed?
Yeah, I'm not sure who their label is, but and they're not as big as they should be. That's the unfortunate thing.
Because the business controls.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? If you think about it, back in the radio days, payola.
Yeah.
You paid DJs and radio stations.
That's exactly it. You literally had to go from door to door
and pay
to
my
make sure
song on there.
Exactly.
And so it's just a different form of payment today.
Yes.
That's all. It's still it's more. Anything creative that becomes more about the business than the creative, I have an issue with.
Well, look at what we're doing now. I mean, this is the point, right? The what you can get, how many likes you can get, how many people you can get to subscribe, how many people you can get on your platform is what's driving everything. Not only the music industry, even our industry.
Everything. Construction too as well. Yeah, 100%.
We are pushing harder and harder on Instagram. That's where we're designers, architects. Let's move into why I'm here. I mean,
well, yeah, we're going to talk about a different kind of rock.
Yeah. Well transitioned, man. Well transitioned.
And listen, okay, first of all, Massimo, welcome. I haven't seen you since we went to that event there, but it was years since I seen you there, since you left Eminem, you know, and that was like a nice little hub that whenever I needed a break, I like going by there and have a little espresso and having a drink, but also talking shop and talking business and learning. Yeah. It was like a school. It should have been Marble School.
Very much.
Right?
Very much. Paulo was an incredible at that. He taught me so much over the 25 years that I was with him.
Yeah.
23 years.
And then you went to Cava.
Went to Cava 2 years ago.
Okay.
Just 2 years anniversary in October. So.
And Cava's been around for 15 or so?
Since 2005. We were City Marble when we were in Woodbridge.
That's before my time.
City Marble, he was a lot smaller, still sold well, still did a great job. But
Who's the original owner?
Joe Baranka.
Okay.
Still the owner. And he realized that there was a different market he can tackle because City Marble, although out there, the name was definitely big enough that he was selling, wasn't competing with the larger guys, you know, the Seats, the Olympias, the Stone Tiles of the world. So he wanted to do something different. And so he rebranded, moved down to the design district. And
also over by the...
we're on Tycos, so the newer design district it's becoming.
Yeah, because you have Stone Road, which is where he was originally. And
Exactly.
everybody else is. And then just a little bit further south, you have this other area.
Exactly.
Which has also got some nice Italian sandwiches areas around. I think food and stone all go kind of around each other.
Very much so. Very much so. There's all kinds of beautiful Italian restaurants around. But no, it's been an incredible transition for him. Cava has just skyrocketed. It was a tiny little place that he had a small warehouse. In the last 2 years that I've been there, he's expanded drastically, and by no means am I saying that it's my fault. I'm not taking the
no. But you're part of the team.
For it. But
you're part of the team,
and we have an incredible team. I'll get to that. But he's been getting to the point that he's got some incredible. We have some incredible, unique materials that you're not going to find at any other places, and he doesn't bring in a container of one material. He brings in smaller amounts, but higher quality material. So it allows for the higher end clientele to pick a material. And it's always the biggest challenge with a supplier is our job ends once the slab is sold. It's supposed to, but it never does, at least not with Cava. We try to follow it. So, you bring a slab to a fabricator, first thing they do is they search it to make sure that there's no issues with the slab.
Yeah.
And I get it, but it's with us, it's a lot less because Joe is so much more meticulous as to what he selects. He does not buy the D grade material. He tries to buy as high as he can at still a reasonable price because you're not going to compete, right? I mean, you could buy Taj Mahal at any supplier in the city, but full well that Taj Mahal isn't one material. There's a lot of different shades, different fissures and problems that come with any natural stone. You're buying a 50 million year old piece of rock.
Yeah.
You're going to have its issues.
How it's going to react. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's the difference. We try to be a little bit more proactive, even from the stone selection side of it.
Here's and I have many problems with the industry, but here's one problem that I have with the industry, how I think trends push forward trying new ideas, and we're talking stone, when we haven't exhausted what we can do with old ideas.
Correct.
And I'll get into that into more detail when I'm talking about that. But I mean, first of all, we got to share the information, right? So www.cavasurfaces.ca. On IG, you can find them under Cava Surfaces. Massimo's email is massimo@cavasurfaces.ca. For all you white people, it's spelled Massimo. And the phone number to reach him is 416-669-7691. Shout out to the boys in Jersey there for Robin's t-shirt that I'm wearing. It's always one of my favorite t-shirts that I wear. If you throw a Cava shirt at me, I'll wear it, totally.
Happily.
I do that. People have been bringing a lot of caps, but I will hang on to my hair until I still have it, and then maybe I'll start wearing caps at that point.
I unfortunately don't have that issue.
But I want to get into, so what I meant by that was I see all the new stuff that's happening, and it's always done based on what the Joneses haven't done yet.
Correct.
And I'm like, but then I go and I talk to like people like you and other people that I kind of respect in the industry, and they start showing me things that have been done with older stones that haven't been done yet. And I'm like, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to see that more of, right? But the industry is more focused on what's new, what's jet, what the Joneses don't have, and what can I show off to other people.
Yes. There is a lot of new stone. No, I say new stone, obviously, ironically, because the stone isn't new.
That's funny, actually.
But the thing is that we have product that there's a couple of materials in stock that we have at the moment that you probably would have seen in like 15th century France on fireplaces, right? Like
what can you name? You guys are mostly natural, or you guys are a mix?
We have our man-made as well. We have a couple of quartz products.
Okay.
Both our own lines, and we also have a porcelain line.
I'm just going to let everybody know that back to, I don't like shakers. I don't like glass block. There's certain things that I don't like. I don't like chantilly lace. I don't like artificial stone.
Agreed.
I'm not a fan of artificial stone.
I do understand, excuse me, I understand the reason for it. The maintenance-free aspect of it. And is
it still 100% maintenance free?
No, it never has been.
That's what I mean.
No, it never has been. Yeah. But there are a lot of ways to easily keep it clean or repair, quote unquote, if something does happen, when something does happen. But it does not compare. I mean,
it's a natural stone.
Natural stone has a beauty and a feel that you cannot duplicate. I say this going back to our initial conversation about Taylor. I say this, the product is man-made. The natural stone is from Mother Nature. Women just do it better than us.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Right? Mother Nature is just incredible.
Tell anybody in construction if they will ever stop to watch a quarry cut a slab and drop it.
Exactly.
I think every man, woman, child will stop and watch that happen.
I've scrolled through tons of videos, and whenever those, and I know I'm in the industry, so it's a little different, but yeah, it's absolutely correct.
It's an awe-inspiring
to
moment.
see where it comes from. That it's literally some people actually have said to me, "Why did you guys put that vein right there in the middle, or that blob or that splotch right in the middle of the slab?" And I'm like, no. And I've actually taken people to those videos, or we have photographs of quarries on our walls in our office to show people that no, that's not the way that works. This is from nature. That was just there. There's no putting it there. This is just through nature, through millions of years. This is how it happens. But we have had people that have literally asked why we did it.
You get a gambit of a bunch of I'm just curious, do the tree huggers, do you get Greta thumbnail bullshit, talking about you're destroying the earth by taking out the stone?
A lot of people have.
I've never seen it. I don't know. So
It's usually a sort of a throwaway comment. It's never been I've never had the serious conversation with people, this is not 100%, but from my understanding, 5% of the world's stone's been mined. Now, granted, we are taking it out of the earth at a much larger rate than we ever have in history. But stone's been mined forever. I mean, the Colosseum's made out of travertine.
Yeah.
Look at all the white marbles that are in the Vatican. Go to any temple in Greece. Everything's been mined forever. Egypt, it's in limestone.
But I want them to compare it to the man-made stuff and all the resins and all the petroleum that's attached to all that stuff.
Exactly.
When you start comparing the two, it's not even apples and apples at that point. It's actually a lot safer and smarter and better for the environment to go natural stone.
You're probably right.
I'm guessing on that.
I don't know the numbers, but you're probably right. But for me, it's more of a feel. It looks real. And also with the textures that are out there now. There used to be just polished and honed. Now there's leather. There's even sandblasting and water jetting. So there's
treatments that you can.
And so you can really bring out the beauty and the feel. I'm a very tactile person. My own kitchen is leathered. I love the feel of natural stone.
Yeah.
It just feels, it just brings you right back to earth, and it's an incredible feeling. And that's what you do not get with that man-made stuff.
But the majority of the market, most clients, you tell me if I'm wrong, they just want this pristine, clean, balanced look. They look at those veins, and if you leathered, then we know how different densities of stone that are in the
exactly.
vein, they react differently. Mm-hmm. All these treatments, they think of it as a mistake. There's a blemish.
Exactly.
But I did a show recently. I don't know if you heard it with John. We did it on the boat there where we had a blast and we're talking to John.
That was a recent one. I didn't see. I didn't get to that yet.
Historic Building Co. And something it keeps on sticking in my head whenever I record a show where I asked him about what should your front door be like? What should your front entryway to your home be like? And he quickly just said that it should be a reflection of the person who lives in that home.
I agree.
And I'm like, it just sticks with me. And then I've been looking at my front door and I was like, this is not a reflection of who I am. And then I go to let's go to the stone now. I think the stone should be a reflection of who you are.
Correct.
As a family, as a husband, wife, as a unity, as a representative of what you are as a character, as a person, personality-wise, that stone should reflect you. And I think if you did a lineup and you had a bunch of people and you put a stone beside these people, I think a lot of these man-made stones wouldn't be reflective of who that character is.
But it's also what is, as you were saying earlier, the trend, what people are going to, the
for sale factor.
Exactly. That's always been an incredible sticking point with me, is the idea that I am buying, if you're building a brand new home for you and your family,
yes.
You don't know when you're going to be selling, but when people start to say, I need to look at sale factor, I need to make sure that I have the ability to sell it. First of all, find a stone you love. Be happy with it while you're there. Yeah. If you're flipping a house and you want to throw in, that's a different story. Yeah. But if you're going to be living in that home, find a stone you love. And quite honestly, when anyone buys that house, I don't care how much money and time and effort you've put into it. You can hire the best designers in the world, make it 100% how it should be. Most people are going to gut it and start from scratch because they all have their own their own ways of doing things, their own likes, their own preferences.
Yep.
And natural stone to me is like picking a piece of art. They say you never give art as a gift because art is so subjective and art is so personal to each person.
Yeah.
That is how I feel about natural stone. When I walk through my warehouse, I'm walking through an art gallery. Everything is so beautiful and unique. And even within blocks, we have many different blocks of the same stone, but they look so different. And we have to make sure that you find the one you love. And that's my job. So when someone walks through our warehouse and they've gone through up and down every single aisle and say, I didn't find anything I like, there's no selling that anymore. There's no pushing a client to say, well, what about because when they're walking through it and they look through every single slab and they don't see anything that spoke to them, that they fell in love with, it's near impossible to sell them on something that is not going to be for them.
Attention contractors and construction professionals. Do you feel like your expenses are way too high? Imagine cutting your spending by 28%. At Schooley Mitchell, they dig deep to help you save on essential expenses that could be impacting your bottom line. Their risk-free analysis allows you to concentrate on your trade while they find those savings for you. Don't let extra expenses keep you from achieving the success you deserve. Reach out today to schedule your risk-free analysis and unlock your savings. Find them at www.schooleymitchell.com/AEGIUGGIO/about. Or reach out to them at erica.giugio@schooleymitchell.com. This message is proudly supported by the Construction Life. You know clients are visual, right? So does the factor of it not being a kitchen and you just got vertical slabs on a slight bevel angle, they can't visualize this slab when you and I can look at this and go, I can totally visualize this in a treatment, in a waterfall, as a piece for an island or a piece for a perimeter. We can visualize all that, but they're just looking at the rawness of the material right then and there.
Especially when it's a fairly busy stone.
Yeah.
Seeing a giant, 5,
it's hard
6
to
foot
kind of
by 10
pinpoint
foot.
and focus right on it.
Agreed. But that is where the salesperson comes in.
Yeah.
We try to educate, not only on what the stone is or what to expect or how it reacts, but also in that respect. So what I do is I will push the slab. I'll either pick it up, bring it out into the light so they can see it in different lighting, or I will put painter's tape across to show them this is what your island would be if you like this area. This is where the sink cutout can be. And you can see, now you can sort of break it down into physical. Counter is 25.5 inches. Yeah. You got an 18 to 20 inch backsplash. If they start to break it down and see it as smaller pieces, even though they're looking at the larger slab. So that's where, as a salesperson, you need to work on showing a client the finished product without being able to show them while looking at a full slab. And we do that at Cava. We try to make sure that they can see it in their home while still standing in our warehouse.
It's an interesting conversation because you have to express it in a way that you're not insulting them.
Agreed.
Right? And I'm not good at that. It's just like, I'm just the truth, right? Like I've walked through slabs and I've walked through warehouses, and it's like most of the time, the corner of my eye catches something. Whether that's just the way a slab starts, ends, in the middle, a vein, a tone, a color, something. It catches my eye.
It could even be the way the light hits it at a certain angle.
Yeah, sometimes if you got windows in the back and sunlight's coming into it, and that's a huge thing for me. Like you need to, I get that most of it is designed artificially, lighting wise.
Of course.
Man, do we all not wake up in the morning waiting for sunlight to come into our kitchen? Isn't that the reason why we always park the kitchen in a certain spot in the house for that morning sunrise? We want that sunlight factoring into. You guys should get a big mirror. We used to have these mirrors in the film business, 4x4 mirrors that we would just redirect sunlight. We would literally be pointing sunlight. Like you should guys catch the sun and shoot it right in there without blinding the clients.
Fairly big windows above, like spanning the entire length of our warehouse.
Yeah.
And we have really good lighting above, and every single row has lighting above it.
So it helps.
But sometimes, depending on the day, the time of day, the light will come through the windows and will give a shadow. Because the lights above are so nice and bright that we've done it on purpose, but it'll give a shadow, and people will assume that the stone is slightly darker at the bottom of the slab than it is at the top. And so that's when, so we actually have picked out the slab, brought it out, opened the bay door, so that people can see it in a full sunlight, in full light, so that people can get a better idea of what the
I would do it with
look.
shafts of light. Not full sunlight.
Well, full sun also is not realistic. You're not going to get
never
the sun
in
shooting
a house,
straight
no.
on a counter.
Yeah,
No, absolutely not.
Unless you're living in a fishbowl, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But nobody, well, some are. But
there are some of those houses up in Muskoka that have just glass everywhere. I mean, that's...
what are the front runners these days, naturally speaking, stone-wise? What are people liking?
I'm noticing a definite shift towards color again.
Really?
For the last...
Because there's always been like that
the
dolomite.
gray, the statuarios,
Yeah.
the calcuttas, the white and gray. And even with the quartz lines, it's always been that sort of, but it's also been the safer bet. People, again, going back, it's the safer bet has always been the easiest choice because they don't have to, they can decorate the rest of the room based on a white and gray, and they can throw browns and blues and greens in the rest of the room, where I'm sort of the opposite. I love that punch of color and brightness and beauty, especially if you're going up a backsplash. In full slab above, like right up to the ceiling behind the hood. It's for me like literally putting a piece of art up on the wall.
Yeah.
So it makes a total difference, and the color is now becoming a lot more. So greens, blues, reds.
I was just in a house. I got invited to a house for a tour. I like these little tours sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And he brought me to one of the kitchens. So just to give you an idea of how the scope of it is, and then I'm looking at a peak of the stone on the island was revealed, and I'm like, I'm loving that orange, and there's like a little vein of orange going through there, and then again, corner of my eye, I noticed that the drawers to all of his drawers were all orange, and so when you open up the drawer, he wanted that orange to pick off. And it works. It works incredibly well.
Absolutely. And that's the beauty.
You would never think orange. Like it's not Home Depot orange. It's actually a nice Mother Nature orange, right?
And that's the difference too, as well, right? There's so many different colors out there. I mean, even as simple as white. There's no such thing as white anymore. No. But color is so much more than orange. There's so many different kinds of orange. Within one slab, we have a material called Volcana that it looks like fire. Like oranges and reds and blacks and blue, and it really does. If you stare at it long enough, it almost moves. Like you can see it. It's incredible, and those are the things that I find to be the most unique. People will say when it's busy, it's too much. You get tired of it quickly. I'm the opposite thinking. For me, the busier it is, the less likely you're going to get tired of it, because there's always something new to find. I love my stone. Because of that, I'm always finding little things within the stone. There's a black veining through my stone that in certain spots looks like a little tree on an island with birds around it. It's incredible. And there are things like that just, you always find something. Whereas you throw in a plain white quartz or even quartz in general.
There's nothing to find.
In 20 years, let's say something destroyed the countertop. In 20 years, you want to replace it, you can find it like that. The exact same pattern.
Here's the
color,
argument that I
everything.
have. If you get a stone with such character, you're going to always want to keep the countertops clear as much as possible.
Agreed.
Because you want to see, I agree with you, that you want to see the work of art there. But if you have that kind of just white, clean and everything, I find a lot of those kitchens have a bunch of stuff on top of them to add character.
Exactly.
You're adding character with the KitchenAid appliances. You're adding character with the butcher block. You're adding character. And I'm like, no, man, the stone is the character. It's another character of this house.
I have the plate drainer.
Yeah.
After we do the dishes, dish drainer, we have it in the sink. I don't ever have one on top of my counter because I do not want to cover that countertop. I always want to have it always in plain sight.
So would you say that it's got to be the for sale factors, the number one reason why people always would love to have something like that? Mm-hmm. It's a reflection of who I am as a person, but we might sell this house in 5, 6, 10 years, and we don't want to have a hard time selling it when...
Unfortunately, you're right. That is the mentality.
Most people are remodeling their kitchens, I'm being told, like in less than 10 years now.
That's true. We're doing a lot of people that have literally ripping up their counters.
10 years, man. Cabinets are not gone by then. Stone is definitely not gone by then.
And a lot of times the cabinets will just stay. You know, they get refinished, they get repainted, they get restained. Counters. Rip out the counter, put a new counter in. It's the easiest way, but it's also, you replace paintings or photographs on your walls. Same idea. You replace counters, but the counter is, for me, the most unique part of a home. One, kitchen's always the one place everybody congregates. And two, it's the first thing people see. no shade at anyone else in a kitchen renovation, but on most times people don't look at the cabinets and go, oh my God, they're gorgeous. Cabinets are there, they're beautiful, and if they're made well, they'll last forever. Yeah. But the stone is always the first thing that people go, oh my God, wow, that's beautiful. In my own kitchen.
It's the first thing I think people touch.
Absolutely.
When they walk in there.
But
they'll touch the countertop before they touch the cabinet.
Exactly. I mean, the cabinets have, the soft
the
closes,
handles or whatever,
the drawer inside the drawer,
but
all these beautiful little unique things that you normally don't even see, but they're there.
Yeah.
But stone it's literally that beautiful piece of art on your wall that everyone will stop and look at and be like, wow, that's what I want to put in people's homes. That's what I'm hoping to push people towards, as opposed to this resale value comment.
It's not even an argument for me. I just tell them, listen, just enjoy it. It's your house, your family. Just do it. If you're already, might as well be planning for a divorce at that time if you want. Like,
exactly.
Like that's not the conversation you want to be having. I want to discuss the fight that's going on right now between technology and stone. And I know with building code, I don't know if it's in Canada recently or somewhere else, or if it's maybe BC. Originally, if the island was 4 feet or greater, you needed 2 receptacles at the island, right? But now I'm being told that they're changing that rule because the plug has to be on the side of the island, and people are getting hooked on the wire there, right? Mm-hmm. So now they're saying they're trying to get rid of the plug. Now you can't put it back into cabinetry because of the code as well. But then you start seeing people come up with the pop-ups, right?
Yes.
And it's a fight. I call it a fight because I have yet to see a proper solution to it.
I literally had this conversation yesterday where we're doing a job with a client, and they were talking about this exactly. It's the island in the cabana. So the fact that these codes are there for this is I'm not 100% certain what the codes are, why those codes are there. There's obviously a reason for them. I'm not sure what they are.
Okay.
But we were trying to figure exactly that. So our solution is to put it in the waterfall, but on the inside, there's a raised black bar top and a blue onyx actual counter and full skirt. So on the inside of the waterfall, we're making the waterfall nice and wide, so the box can be put inside there. And we need to speak with an electrician to make sure that to code does that fit. If it's not in a cabinet, but if it's in a stone, wire fed through. But
it's still accessible from the outside of the waterfall to plug it in.
Exactly.
Okay, then you'll get designers upset because you've broken the waterfall now.
Correct.
Design-wise, you've broken it.
You're right. There is in my own house, obviously, Fitz.
Yeah.
Formerly Aria Vent.
Yeah.
I have their boxes in my backsplash. My island is nowhere near as big, so it doesn't require it. I do have plugs in my skirt on my island, but the box is an open door.
Yeah.
Plug in, close the door, the wire goes around it, and it actually completely. So this is actually a great use for a waterfall leg. You still see stone, you see a small gap around it, and there's no plug sticking out of it. The wire is completely hidden away.
I'm not a fan of that either because of the extra work to open it up, plug it in, and then close it and make sure the wire fits in the perimeter cavity, right?
That there is an actual spot for it.
I'm not a fan of receptacles being underneath the bottom of your upper cabinets because I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Peter Dinklage. You still have to look underneath to plug it in. And Peter is a short actor. That's
an incredible
small person, right? So I'm making a joke about that. But the thing is, I haven't found a proper solution for plugs. On an island, on a perimeter, I haven't found it, and it's almost, I think it's gotten to the point where we get into other companies that will start integrating the receptacles. Like they'll put the little circles, right? And
yeah.
I'm not a fan of those either.
Same
right?
issue. You still have to plug it in and that wire's still sticking out. Changes.
With those things, what happens to me is like, there's a creature on the island now. There's a creature on the perimeter, and they're looking at me with these beady eyes, right? And that's why I think you draw more attention by actually trying to make less attention of it.
The other thing is for me, the bocce plugs, the simple thing is the precision that you need to have to drill those holes. But even if you have water jet or a press to drill that hole in perfect symmetry, so it's a perfect 90-degree cut straight down through the hole, through the stone, you're also dealing with stone chips. Stone has its issues when you're doing that precision. If you get a tiny little chip, it's so visible. And of course, a client's not going to want that. They don't want a chip that has been
I know, it's
repaired
gonna annoy
on
them.
a bocce, because that bocce is meant to sort of blend in.
Yeah.
And I get that, but the precision has to be so perfect. And with natural stone, sometimes it can't be.
I just don't know. I know that I'm not a fan of the pop-ups. In that house tour that I went to recently, he had pop-ups. And it was a stainless steel cover. I know I've seen it through you guys where it was a matching stone pop-up, so then it came up. And I don't know what it is. I just haven't seen. Maybe I need to take a trip somewhere that has figured it out. I don't know who's figured it out. Or maybe the solution is, listen, man, it's a receptacle. Park it. I need it right here because this is where my machine's going to go, where I'm going to use it.
I mean, are we overthinking it? I mean, it is generally, you're right. It's a plug. Needs
That's
to be
what I
plugged,
mean. Why are we trying to? We're trying to do so many things to hide it,
Correct.
and I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
I think we should just have it there. And I mean, there's listen, anybody who's using screw plates to begin with should be smacked around their head, right? Like, I'm sorry, but screw plates are down. They're gone of the toggle. Nobody's using toggle switch today.
Exactly.
Mind you, I've said that I do love those old school English.
The push button.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love those, man.
Very much so.
I
I was in a
something about that, man.
I was in an old house in Bradford, and they still had them. To this day, they still work.
I know there's a company out there that's redoing them all now in brass and all kinds of and stupid numbers attached to them, right? For one receptacle, one plug, and the switch. And I'm like, I love them though. It's great. I think it's better than the decor. Decor is an American thing.
Easiest, simplest. It's just flat. It's, there's nothing sticking off the wall.
So I don't know what the solution is, but I think I'm leaning towards it's there. Introducing Alt Labor Solutions, the game changer for contractors and laborers. Are you a contractor needing skilled labor, or have labor in need of quick shifts? Or how about buying, selling, or renting tools, material, and equipment? Connect easily with contractors and find resources hassle-free through Alt Labor Solutions online platform. Post job listings with project details, browse public resumes, and choose the right person for the job. Explore their job board for new opportunities and connect with top talent. Alt Labor Solutions revolutionizes the labor industry with a user-friendly interface, secure payments, and a supportive team. Visit them at altlaborsolutions.com and start connecting with other contractors today. This message is proudly supported by the Construction Life.
I love the solutions that allow you to do what you got to do with the plug, but still show the stone. So
Yes.
whether the plate is made out of stone,
Yeah.
or the fits product, or something that allows you to put what you need to put, but still show the stone. I mean, at least for the stone aspect of it. I don't want something to cover up, like on a waterfall island, and you have a cover plated plug. It just looks ugly to me.
It defeats the purpose of the waterfall.
Agreed. I don't like it either. But
The reason you go to the waterfall is because you want to feature that stone, and especially a natural stone with a vein going from the top to the side.
And if there's a beautiful vein where you have, you're not going to put it off to the side. Generally, you center that plug. But yes, but you center the waterfall so that vein matches beautifully, comes down the waterfall, and now you're literally putting a plug right on that beautiful vein looks ugly.
Let's talk about, I think I've spoken to the guys about the films that are being put onto stone now instead of actually sealing stones, right?
Correct.
And are we going to get to the point where we're going to start doing like what we used to do or we're still doing now with car wraps, where you can change the color of your car with a car wrap? Are we going to start to change stone with a wrap on the stone now?
I hope not. That would just defeat the purpose entirely. I mean,
I don't know. Is that going to happen? I just see it happening because clients were like, let's just wrap it. Just wrap it.
I mean, I can see that being what you were saying earlier about that sort of idea that we're going towards the future so quickly that we're not really focusing on what works and what has worked well. So yeah, I can see that definitely going that way.
But you won't be able to cut on it. You won't be able to put anything hot on it. You won't be able to do any of it.
I mean, it wraps, so it protects it from staining.
Yeah.
It protects it from etching, but it does not protect it from scratching or.
Well, if I go into a house and they've done that, I'm going to go into the living room to see if the couches are wrapped in plastic too. Because we grew up in that.
I totally did.
We all grew. If you're European, we grew up in that.
Yep.
Right? And I don't know if anybody's still doing it. If Nona's doing it or somebody's doing it, I don't know. But
I'm assuming so.
You might as well wrap your couches. You might as well wrap everything at that point. That makes no sense, though.
There are other products, and again, it doesn't defeat the whole. You can put heat on it. I want to say something about that first, but
you can put heat on it. You can put something hot on it.
Not on the wrap, but on the resin based. That there's like a marble armor or there's another product
for a resin based man-made stone?
No, you actually, instead of putting the tough skin or the wrap on it, it's actually a resin that gets poured onto the counter, hardened with a UV light, and it acts as a protector in the same way. A little bit more expensive to do, but a lot longer lasting. And again, same thing. You can do it in a polished or a hone finish. You don't see it, but you still can scratch it. Hot pots can go on it. Hot pots are never a good idea, no matter what the product. I don't care if it's quartz because of the resin component or natural stone. I always tell people, do not put hot on your counter. Everyone has habits. Everyone takes something out of their oven and puts it in the exact same spot over and over again. Stone is always cool to the touch. It takes on temperature of the surrounding room. And
you
for the most part,
hot on there right away.
I mean, if you're freezing, defrosting a turkey, and then you put something hot right on it, you're literally going to thermofrost. It's going to crack. It's going to cause an issue. But I'm even thinking about on a longer scale, because of those habits that people have. It starts to wear. The stone starts to wear. You'll start to see little tiny pits, just from that one spot, because it's that constant cold to hot, cold to hot, cold to hot on a obviously a longer time scale. But it does happen, and then you start to see that wear in that stone. You see the same thing where people will use a cloth or something underneath a coffee machine or next to the sink where they do the dishes. They will slowly start to be aware because they don't see, they don't move it, they don't clean it, they don't wipe it often. So coffee gets under a coffee machine. Could be one of the most,
and it'll just eat away at it.
Exactly, and that's what those are the issues that sometimes. So I always tell people, please do not always
putting a mat there too is also going to, especially if you get a lot of natural sunlight coming in, because that sunlight's doing something to the stone.
Most windows, and I'm not a window guy, but you might be able to help me to this. Most windows have a UV protective. So, and that's the UV is generally the issue with natural stone, with quartz, with porcelain, with anything. That's what discolors and yellows. Those kinds of products.
I just discovered something recently. You have the winter comforter and you have the summer comforter, right? So obviously one's thicker in winter and whatever. And I ended up, because I was just lazy, I left it by the window, folded, unfolded it, get it ready for the winter.
You saw a yellowing, even though it was inside.
It was inside at this window, sitting there on a bench for the summer. Now I need it for the fall winter, and I unfolded it, and there you go, right there, right on the spine. It's eat away at it, right? So it just sunlight still gets in there, right? And it's not that you got to start putting SPF on everything in your house. That's not the point. The point is that you have to be conscious of it. And I know that we discovered it with hardwood flooring, tiger wood. You got to move rugs. Like sunlight still reacts to it too, but also lighting inside your house.
True.
Right? It reacts to it as well. And I think it's just, first of all, man, clean your kitchen once a week. Like, just maintain your kitchen once a week, if not every single day, right? I don't know.
There have been times where I've literally, when I did fabrication, and client would call me and complain, and we did their kitchen, say 2-3 years prior, they'll complain that it's damaged, something's wrong. And I've literally gone to the homes, saw the issue, and it was simply cleaned the counter. I literally cleaned it. That was it. And now it looked brand new again. I'm like, I again, going back, you don't want to make the client feel stupid and say, but you sort of have to get that conversation out there to let them know, look, this is just, Show
me what you do after you make dinner and do dishes and whatever.
Exactly. Sort of get that, maybe that timeline.
I am doing it. I'm just standing here right now.
But that's you're right.
The issue now.
I had someone complain that their stone cracked. What happened? Don't know. You're doing construction, did anyone by chance step on the counter to fix the light or paint the ceiling or do whatever? Absolutely not. I went to the house within 3 hours after this call, got there was still a footprint on the countertop. It was light, but it was there. I'm like, you told me nothing. But I showed them. I brought the home, and then of course the homeowner went crazy on the
whoever did it.
Yeah, the site super, because obviously someone on site did it.
You talk about habits. You talk about construction habits. People are so used to thinking, it's solid stone. It's strong. It's fine.
All the time.
It's not the case. If you think about the shell of it, like a lot of stone tops rely on the width of the cabinet, and you're dealing with that 25-inch depth of the cabinet.
Yeah.
And inside, there's no structural components.
No. In fact, full plywood, which is what some people will use, actually cause problem. When you're trying to, again, no shade to the cabinet makers, but sometimes the cabinets aren't perfectly level.
Yeah.
When you put a full sheet of plywood, you've now put the stone down on top of a flat surface that is also off level.
Shaped. Yeah.
So you cannot adjust from underneath. You can't shim. You can't do what you need to do to make that, because your counter's got to be level. You don't want someone putting an egg on the counter and then it rolling off, right? So you want to make sure that it's level. When it's full plywood, you can't. So yes, you have to, you do what you can with the unsupported space, but yes, it is still unsupported. But you're right. People will look at it and go, it's a beautiful, strong countertop. There's no issues. There's no way that it's going to break.
You getting more people to, I don't know, is the trend of backlit still climbing?
Huge.
Is it really, huh?
Very much so.
Really?
We have a table, Patagonia table, which is it's filled with, it's almost like a granite. And then there's these pockets of white quartzite, cristallo kind of white quartzite, and veins through it as well. And small sections of mica that when the light goes on, the light goes through all of it. It goes through those veins of quartzite. It goes, obviously, the larger.
See, that is nice.
It's stunning. It really does. And again, they're the unique stones that do have that component that you can do it.
That's where you need to speak to someone like you, because the client is definitely not going to understand the light penetration through dense stone, right?
That's what we try to do. We try to show people that Cava's not a countertop salesperson. We don't just sell slabs for counters. We sell slabs for literally everything.
Surfaces.
Exactly. Surfaces of every kind.
Yeah.
Walls, ceilings, floors, cabinet fronts.
Showers, floors.
We have in our showroom a solid block carved tub in a white marble.
Wow.
It's obviously not for everybody for two reasons. One, the cost, but two, the weight. The house it's almost a ton just on its own.
You got to structurally set that up.
You got to make sure that the architect does all that from beginning, from construction, right? But we want to show people that light fixtures. We have beautiful onyx light fixtures in our showroom. So there's so much more that you can do. Because it's art, you can use it as such. It does not have to be just on your counter. And that's what we try to do as well. We try to, the education, that I think has been the one thing that anyone can become a salesperson of slabs or stone, or even as a fabricator. Not the fabrication part of it. That's got to be a very specific.
Yep.
You got to know what you're doing there. But I mean, selling the product itself, trying to sell. But if you don't have the background, 22, 23 years ago, I didn't. I learned it. And there is no schooling, unfortunately. There's schooling for design, there's schooling for everything, but there's no school for stone, for what we do.
No.
So you need to educate yourself. I actually literally, when I did the fabrication end of it, I went into the back. I took a vanity and started producing it. I built every stone that's in my house. I actually made myself before, I obviously with a little bit of help on certain things because I'm not the professional, but I did what I can so that I can get my hands on it. I can feel grinding and polishing and know how stone reacts and what it can do and how you can apply it to make what you want with it. Carving out the inside of the back. We did a front fridge panel out of stone, where when you open the door, you don't see the panel itself. It literally looks like a full 3/4 inch sheet of stone. But on the inside, it's been carved out so that it can sit on the panel and close, and it looks beautiful.
So that's how it's sitting.
It's lighter, so you don't have to worry about hinges.
Yeah.
And it looks absolutely stunning. Natural stone. Our front doors, we have cabinets brought from Italy, made in Italy. But it was exactly that. All of the door panels, so all the veining lines up. It's all perfectly matched from block, but it looks perfect. And when you open up those drawers, you don't see stone, then wood.
See, they tried that 10 years ago with the porcelains when they started introducing porcelains to do this stuff. As soon as I opened it up, I'm like...
You can see it. Exactly right.
This is why I don't like it. Can you close the door now, please?
Don't ever open the drawers. Just leave everything closed.
Sure, if you want to photograph your kitchen, that's one thing. If you're an Uber Eats family, that's one thing. But that's not real life. Right?
And that's also the idea behind marble in a kitchen. That comment exactly is the marble in a kitchen. So you can put marble in a kitchen. I've had fabricators call me and say, why did you sell the marble for their kitchen? Why not? I told them. I gave them what will happen, not what may, what will. We've told them, we've educated them, they know what to expect. And that's their now prerogative to say, I'm okay with that. It's patina. It's normal.
What is it? The wine argument? The coffee argument?
Yes, which that
so
is an
here's
easy
my
aspect.
argument to any of that. How about the memory argument?
That's my
How
spiel.
about if I was having a joke with my significant other, with my kids, we were laughing, and all of a sudden someone spilled a glass of wine, and we were trying to clean it up, and now there's a slight stain there, and I'm like, that's when the family was like laughing. We were laughing at it's a memory argument. I think it trumps all this other bullshit argument.
And that is the mentality around the world. I mean, I have tons of family in Italy, and all of them have marble countertops, and that is literally, I've heard them say that story. Like, this was the wedding anniversary. This was the birthday. This was the baptism. That is exactly it.
That's why I love that patina.
But the other thing is that the staining, you can drop red wine. You could drop orange juice. You can drop tomato sauce. You seal it and seal it well. And that's another challenge because clients sometimes or most of the time forget.
They don't stay on schedule.
And there's one quick and easy way to do it around your sink.
Yeah.
Your sink is going to start to absorb water over time as the sealer wears. That's your cue. The second you see the water darkening the stone, stop, dry it, seal it. That's it. You don't have to wait a specific amount of time. Or do it every 6 months. Once every 6 months, it takes 5 minutes. It's not a big deal. But that can be protected. You can, when you spill a tomato sauce or wine, you can protect it from the absorption aspect of it. The acidity of it, you can't. Without the wraps or the resin surface, you can't.
So make your mojito on the cutting board.
Put the plastic, literally get shrink wrap and
just find your spot of where you got to do certain things, right?
For me, it's just a matter of use your cutting boards. It's not a big deal. When you're squeezing a lemon, don't squeeze it from up here. Squeeze it,
it's not a car wash lemon. You know what I mean? Attention aspiring tradespeople and entrepreneurs. Looking to break into the skilled trades or start your own home service business? Meet Trade Links Consulting, your go-to partner for success. At Trade Links Consulting, they're passionate about helping you find the right trade, build your business, and mentor the next generation. Whether you're exploring your options or ready to take the plunge, they offer tailored career consulting and startup guidance to get you on the right track. Visit them at www.tradelinkconsulting.ca today and book your personalized strategy session. Your future in the skilled trade starts here. This message is proudly supported by the Construction Life. But it's also, I guess it also factors into showers because I don't use a lot of hair care or body products. I use 2. That's all I have, right? I'm a white guy. I use 2, right? Mm-hmm. So I know a lot of those products have things in them that will attack stone, whether it's man or natural. And then you'll see discoloration go over time.
Of course. But it's just how you're willing to live, which is going back to why quartz is so popular. It's the quote unquote maintenance free option. Yeah. The porcelain, it's a maintenance free option. You can do all those things. And I actually do personally like porcelain on a wall in a shower. It's clean, it's easy, you don't have to do anything. You literally squeegee it off and you don't even touch, it's perfect. But it also, if you do want to do natural stone, which we do a lot, higher end homes don't have porcelain or quartz. It's all natural stone, showers, marble showers. The difference is that, unfortunately, they have the ability to have a cleaning person in there once a week,
Maintain
2-3 times a week. Exactly. Yeah. Clean it properly. I see a lot of literal squeegees sitting inside the shower. So they squeegee the wall. So there's no residue or soap or any products sitting on the wall, allowing it to dry. So there are ways that even us, poor folk, can get those things done easily.
I don't do the squeegee. Yeah.
What do you have on the wall though? Do you have natural stone?
No, I have natural stone, and for all the soap scum that happens over time. First of all, you got to understand. You're talking to a man that takes a cold shower every morning.
Wow.
Right. So and it's getting colder now because the time of the year. Right. So that's the standard. Every morning it's a cold shower that you have, and that's what it is. And I rinse the shower when I'm finished. Whether it's the morning shower or the evening shower with hot water, I rinse it, right?
Yeah.
But once a week, I throw CLR in a spray bottle and I spray it.
Is it marble?
It's not a marble, it's a granite.
Okay.
And
that's a great option.
It gets rid of all the soap scum. You got to hold your breath when you're spraying it.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not safe.
It is acid.
Put a respirator on, but leave it sit there for 10 minutes or so, and then you just a light scrub, and it is all gone. Marble is a different story.
Completely.
But the stone that you choose, there's a maintenance directory associated with that stone that you choose.
Yeah.
Even the man-made stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
There are care and maintenance packages that we actually do give along with the with the product. Sometimes people ask, sometimes they don't, and we just send it anyway, so that there is no phone call down the road. Yeah. They know what to do, and they know how to maintain it. Yeah. And that's exactly it. That would not work with marble. You do that in marble, you're going to etch it. You're going to literally eat away at the marble. That acid will. I use CLR to acid wash samples. When someone wants a hone sample, I use CLR. Works beautifully. I mean, 25 years ago, I used muriatic acid.
That's a little.
It was insane, and we did it.
Put on the horse vet gloves and everything.
It was incredible. Yeah, everything. And it would burn your nostrils.
Yeah, I know.
But that was the norm back then. It's now, CLR is perfect. You put a little bit of CLR in it. I squeegee it back and forth to get over the entire thing. Etches it. It takes off the shine. Maybe I have a couple of diamond pads just to make it a little bit warmer color.
See, that goes back to at the beginning of the show where I said we haven't even exhausted the ideas that we can do with the existing material that we're playing with. I think that the train going towards trends is way ahead, and it's missing all this opportunity.
I agree. I completely agree. And that's something like, there's so much that can be done with natural stone that you're right. There's no reason to go forward until we've exhausted all the back, and the back has still got a lot. I guess simple is just you cover your drawers in stone. It's beautiful.
I've seen it before. It looks really nice. You getting clients asking for heated countertops?
No.
Is it a conversation that they're curious about it?
On my end of it, rarely. That's generally a fabrication part. When I was at Marble & Marble, yes. We had the one counter in our showroom that was heated. And whenever we'd sit with someone and they'd feel it and they'd be like, oh my God. And the idea, you'd see that spark in their head that, wow, this is a possibility. My own kitchen, I have the overhang is heated. Again, because I was still at the fabrication shop.
It was something. Put your arms on it.
So whenever we're sitting on the bar side, it's beautiful. We put our arms and it's nice and warm. And we have it on a timer so we can turn it on and off. Heck, we've even kept food warm on that end of the island.
You can increase it to a point.
Yeah. I mean, it still has 3/4 of stone. Doesn't get hot.
No, you're not going to burn yourself.
No, God, no.
You ain't cooking an egg on it.
It's heated flooring.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Exactly
it's just
the same
installed
thing.
on a.
And anybody who walks into a bathroom that heats floor with bare feet, you can feel the difference between wood and that stone that's heated.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's literally what they use.
The problem that I have is that you'll get a lot of installers that don't understand the thermal bridging of it.
Yes.
So I was doing a job and I was arguing with the installer. And I was like, dude, I'm trying to explain to you. Like, I know the science behind this, right? And he just wanted to put the of silicone every so often, right?
Oh, I get it.
I wanted to do a full thin bed, right? And he kept on arguing. He's like, listen, I'm not installing, I'm not doing it because I wanted to do the thin bed, right? So all of a sudden, the homeowner just said, fuck it, let's just move forward. Just that's it, right? So it gets installed. No, it's not so much that. I pull out the thermal gun.
You can, absolutely. There's space between. So, of course, where the cement is, it's a little warmer.
You're not bridging the heat. So all of a sudden, where the silicone is, plenty of heat and a little bit of heat on the slab.
You're absolutely right.
So I'm like, you're getting hot spots now. And I'm like, this is the reason why I was paying attention to the manufacturer telling me about thermal bridging, and you're an installer who's not understanding thermal bridging. So if you are going to go that route, do your homework and get it done properly. But it's not for everybody. But I think it's a nice little touch. If you work a lot at the island, if you do a lot of kids do homework, kids pay attention to their iPad, or kids are just chilling out, or you're chilling out with a friend and having a drink or something like that. You know what I mean? It's worth it. I think it's worth it.
Even as simple as people with carpal tunnel, just to have that cold constantly underneath, especially if you're working at that island all the time. And we don't have an office in our home. My wife works on the island. She literally has. So yes, she'll turn it on, so that she has that warm wrist. It actually does make a difference.
It does. And then you get into the thermal mass of things. You got to understand this is stone. And whatever your temperature of your house is, it's going to take that temperature, right? So it's going to feel colder as a result of that. So you'll definitely see it if it's heated compared to the perimeter or whatever it is, right? When you touch a stone in the winter months, it's colder.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely colder, right? When you start cooking and there's hub going on inside the kitchen, then it starts to warm up because it's taking the thermal mass of the room.
Exactly.
Bodies heat up a home easily.
Especially if you have an oven in that.
Yeah. So that's why I'm just saying is that you got to, these are all the things that I'm factoring in. It brings me to, I'm assuming the industry is definitely going more towards full slab backsplashes, more than tile.
I think so.
I see that.
I personally, obviously, maybe for obvious reasons, but I do love it. It's one, it's so much prettier than a wall full of seams, but two, it's easier to clean.
Yeah.
You splatter. I'm Italian. Tomato sauce everywhere.
I tried to explain it to a designer here recently. I know.
So when you're cooking,
we talk about the pot filler. Oh, the pot filler argument.
What's the argument?
Well, no, they love it because it's a piece of jewelry and it's, always looks beautiful.
Okay.
But I'm like, you're cooking pasta and you're cooking sauce and you're gonna have a little bit of a messy day. You had a fight with your significant other. There's gonna be a few splashes on that pot filler. Then tell me how much you love that pot filler.
I mean, I have a pot filler, and yes, I'm constantly wiping it, and it's black. So
you
yes,
clean it a lot.
I'm cleaning it a lot. Absolutely, I completely agree. And
you still got to take the pot off of the stove to go drain it.
Yes, because you don't have a sink right next to it. Yes, you're absolutely right. So
get the pre-workout and get the post-workout.
Get them both. Get them both in.
I love how it looks. It looks nice and clean. It's beautiful. And it comes out and it's got the two handles. I get all that shit. But you're already adding $1,000 at bare minimum to get one. No, just for the fixture.
Oh, yeah.
Now you got to run the line.
You got to run the lines underneath, especially mine is not in the sink is in the island. Pot filler's at the perimeter. So, yeah, I had to run all that underneath.
So you got to think about all that stuff, right?
Exterior wall.
I do like the slabs on the backsplash. I do like it. But I'm not an upper cabinet guy. I detest upper cabinets.
Which in that respect, then yes, if you have a beautiful empty bare wall, why not?
Slabs.
100%.
Especially with veins. If you can do a book match or whatever, going towards the cook area.
That's another thing. I'm noticing a decline in book matching.
Really?
A lot of designers are really against it. They're starting to say to me that no, they'd prefer block match because they don't want to see what is unfortunately generally seen when two slabs are book matched.
What, a vagina?
Or a penis. Yeah.
Really?
Unfortunately, that is
We're
the
looking
case.
at Mother Nature's veins and we're comparing them to genitals.
Yeah.
That's a far stretch, man.
It's unfortunately a comment that's been going around for, you know that. It's going around for a long time. It's not something new.
That's a far stretch, man.
I love it. I love the idea of seeing what can be done. That's the whole point. Most of the slabs that come out of the quarries, when blocks are cut, they are polished to book match.
I'd do a big M for Manny, man, or an M for Massimo.
Exactly. I think you can do that easily with most stones. But no, there's a trend to go against it.
What do you think, Anna? Does that work for you? It looks like an A. No? Okay.
I don't know. I mean,
really, I can't believe that you're having conversations with clients like that's the reason with designers, eh?
Yeah, people are seeing what they're seeing. I mean, we've had people remove backsplashes or fireplace walls because they see something they really don't want to see. We had a client 15-ish years ago that saw the devil in their backsplash. Very Christian family, saw what looked like the devil, face, horns, everything. We ripped off that counter, that backsplash, and redid it.
I could see that, but I mean that's where you're getting into the ink block tests, actually.
Exactly.
Right? So
yeah, Rorschach's paintings, that's exactly the point, right? But I like it. I like the book match personally.
I think a book match would look good in the corner if it's coming from the corner.
Yeah, I've seen that in on a fireplace wall where there's a wall as well
or a shower or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not opposed to book match. I don't know.
I ultimately, no matter what, book match or block match, yes, I appreciate the upper cabinets or no, I appreciate the full backsplash.
I also like the fact that I'm starting to see certain people, unfortunately not North American people, doing interesting things about the way I've seen mixture of elements like seamstress, like they're kind of integrate. I'm talking like furnishings. I'm seeing a lot of these little interesting details of how they're tying wood together or they're using different materials together to create these pieces of furniture where I'm like, that's got to hit the home. Like that's got to hit construction. That's got to hit stone. That's got to hit tile. That's got to hit something. You got to have a connection between the two. Like
a mesh between, like on a countertop, a mesh between stone, wood, metal, that kind of thing.
Something like that. We're seeing it in tile. We're seeing brass inlays.
I've done it in counters as well.
Yeah.
Islands are getting bigger and bigger. There's the 8-foot island doesn't exist anymore unless you have a tiny home and you just want to have a seam. So you're looking at a seam. Anything above 10 feet, you start reducing drastically the amount of material you have to select from. Because slabs don't come that big unless they're a really, really hard product that you can mine and cut into larger slabs. We received a material yesterday, a marble that's 140 inches. I hadn't seen that in forever.
Almost 12 feet.
Like, it's ridiculous. But and it's a stunning marble. But that's rare.
Yeah.
Most slabs are 115, 120. So you're looking at...
That's because of shipping, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Containers and trying to fit it. We only got 6 bundles into this container as opposed to 8 because of the length of these 2 particular bundles. So the islands are becoming 14, 16, 18 feet long. Some of these houses are ridiculous.
Huge.
So you have to seam it. Now, your seam an island, a 4 foot, 5 foot island, you're pushing 2 pieces of stone together with a little bit of epoxy in the middle. It's never going to be perfect. It can't be. You cannot, I mean, unless you get a stone restoration guy afterwards to come and finish, polish, refinish the whole thing and make it look perfect.
On a natural, though.
Yeah, on a natural stone, not on man-made.
Yeah.
I mean, there are ways to do it on man-made as well. Some of these guys are really, really good at what they do. On natural, I mean.
Yeah.
So for the most part, a fabricator goes in with their installers. They push the 2 pieces together. They put a nice colored epoxy between, but it's always a visible seam. So now they're making it visible with wood or with a metal inlay, but it's now a visible seam that's purposefully done.
Yes.
So that you do have that. And those inlays are generally something that ties the rest of the kitchen or a shower, like the rest of the bathroom, in so that there is a little bit
connection.
of tie-in.
Yeah.
And that's where obviously the designers come in.
It would work. I told you it would work.
And it's beautiful. We've done it many times. We used to, when we fabricated, we did it all the time, and it's incredible. It works really well. It allows for people, the wood butcher blocks on the end, and the connection between the stone and the wood. It's not just push it up against. You can actually make it, you water jet the wood and the stone so that it comes together like a Lego puzzle. And it works beautifully. You
can, the live edge wood you're talking about.
Exactly.
The connection. Yeah.
You can make it so that, and that way there's a connection and a tie-in. I completely agree with you. I think that's a beautiful way to do it.
I think that's a nice, beautiful design marriage. You get the rawness of the stone that matches the rawness of the live edge, and you put the two together and you have a beautiful seam. And it's like, yeah, there's a seam, but everyone's paying attention to the seam now.
Exactly.
The seam has got beauty to it.
Exactly. So it is out there. It does exist. Again, it's that safety. This is a very unique way to do things. Not a lot of people are doing it. Once it becomes the quote unquote norm, then maybe it'll become a little bit more. But right now it's so rare. Even people are almost afraid because it's abnormal to do it. It's not what you usually see, that people are always a little bit afraid. But I think that's a great option.
It's hypocritical because if we're talking about people remodeling in 10 years, people potentially moving in 5 years, you don't want to take the risk in trying this. Mm-hmm. You'll be out of here in 5 or 10.
Yeah. What do you care? And then whoever's going to do it is going to rip it out anyway and start from scratch.
I'll be walking away from the clients going, hypocrites. A home built on trust, crafted with care. Your home is more than just a structure. It's where memories are made, where your family grows, and where you find comfort. That's why your renovation or building project deserves nothing less than the utmost care and quality. Because it's not just about creating a space, it's about creating a place where life happens. Tim, the heart and soul behind Ravine View Construction, understands that your home is personal, and whether you want to be involved in every detail or prefer to leave it in the hands of a trusted expert, he and his team are here to make your vision a reality. At Ravine View Construction, every project is handled with the passion it deserves, from the initial site assessment to the final touches that turn a house into a home. Tim's team doesn't just build, they protect what matters most. With a reputation built on trust, excellence, and a commitment to using only the best materials, Ravine View Construction ensures that your home isn't just beautiful, it's built to last. Tim and his team work alongside the finest tradespeople, guiding you through every step so you always feel confident and cared for. Let them help you create a space where you can enjoy peace of mind and cherish moments with those you love for years to come. Connect with Ravine View Construction today at 416-671-0170 or visit them at www.rvchomes.ca. For direct inquiries, email Tim at info@rvchomes.ca. Let them build not just a house, but a home filled with lasting memories. This message is proudly supported by the Construction Life. What about outside? Everybody going outside these days? They're building the kitchens outside and countertops, or they? Yeah.
We're doing a fair amount. We're selling. The thing is again, whenever I talk to a client about whatever the project is, and I sort of come back to, and it's because of the years of my experience, I go back to the fabrication aspect of it.
Yeah.
You want to do an outside countertop, I agree. Don't use epoxy, which means no matter their built up edges.
Yellow,
where you use exterior epoxy specifically for that, but unfortunately it still does wear because of our weather. It's freezing cold one day, it's hot the next day, this week alone.
Yeah.
And that constant change of temperature will eventually wear the epoxy. I've seen strips fall. Like just come right off, disconnect, and fall to the ground.
Wow.
So 3
natural
centimeter.
stone is your best option?
Natural stone, but any 3 centimeter material. No built up edges, no nothing. You just get a full finished 3 centimeter material, install it, and of course, certain stones. There are certain quartzites that are strong enough to withstand the weather. Granites, of course, have always been the norm. And titanium, Nero Soluto, that sort of
those
solid
survive
black.
our Canadian winters
Very well. But I still say throw a tarp over it in the winter. Don't allow all stone.
I'm cooking throughout, so it's like
That's,
right. You're using it always, but
The challenge is also the natural stone is porous. I don't care how dense the product is, it's still porous. Ice and snow fall on it, warms up, stone gets absorbed into the, or water gets absorbed into the stone, even minimally. Next day freezes, it's going to crack.
you know what I would do? I would photograph the natural stone and then get an upholstery person to make a fabric for a cover that looks exactly like the stone.
Oh,
So when you're covered,
it
it's
looks,
still,
yeah.
I don't
There's
know
an idea.
how much that would cost, but
Never even considered that as an option. Yes, you're absolutely
well, you
right.
think like the barbecues make their custom. Back in our day, we had the bras on the cars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That's dead
My
and
brother's
buried
IROC
now.
has it. Had it.
Exactly, right? But why can't you do that for the stone on the outside where you have a
Yeah.
custom fitted thing and might as well make it look exactly like the same stone?
You're right.
Unless you're going to be that client that's like, oh shit, the cover's still on. They put stuff on it and they're burning right through it.
I can't imagine anyone's going to do that, but you're right.
But that's an idea to do if you could do that. So it covers it up and protects the stone and still leaves the cabinetry access.
That's
right?
true.
I don't know. That's a cool idea. I think it would work.
That's a great idea.
Anybody
Someone
listening? You guys can take that. There's no royalties
go
attached
and run
to
with
that
it.
one. I've been seeing trend-wise everyone trying to do a thicker stone edge, like a 6-inch,
I'm noticing that on bathrooms a lot more than, say, kitchens.
and I don't like it.
It's a skirt designed to, especially on bathrooms, to
Yeah, you
cover
get rid
plumbing.
of the plumbing portion of it.
Yeah, you see a little bit more stone. You have it's like having a waterfall in the front of your vanity, so that you can get that vein going straight up, and then if you go up the backsplash, 10 or 12 inches with the faucets coming off, you get a beautiful look. It can be done well. I don't know. What don't you like about it?
I don't like it in the kitchen because I think it's a waste of space. In the bathroom, I don't think I mind it because for the most part, I think most people don't use their drawers of their vanity. I think people need to have plenty of recessed cabinetry. So your mirror opens up and all the things that you use on a daily basis are right there, out of sight, out of mind kind of idea.
Yep.
Right? So then you get into the argument about plugging in if you have a water pick or you're charging a battery, whatever it is, right? So listen, people, I think that any homeowner has been through a renovation, you modify certain things after the inspection's been passed.
Of course.
It's your home,
unfortunately.
your duty. That's it. You take care of it, right?
Yeah.
But I go back to function. You have to figure out how you work as a family unit and what you do on a daily basis and how it works. And I don't think the most part people pull drawers out
in bathrooms.
in bathrooms.
Yeah.
That's just my thought process. But then you start, get into the women argument. They're like, they pull out every drawer. They pull out they have access for everything that they need, right?
I have a small basket in my bathroom and a toothbrush on the counter. That's it. Everything else, every drawer, every cabinet is all my wife. I get that. But
You got one bottle of shampoo maybe or something.
sitting on the rack with all the rest of her stuff. Absolutely. But it's in a kitchen. I agree with you. I don't like the big skirt in the kitchen.
It's a waste of space.
Because you do have to stick with a certain height. 3 feet is generally a standard height for a kitchen counter. You have a really tall family. You want to go a little bit higher. All the power to you.
I know, but your Hobbit friends that are coming over, what's going to happen there, right?
I guess I don't know. I mean, that's each is their own. But
I did see really cool moving the dishwasher to wall oven height,
yeah,
and I was like, that's kind of brilliant.
I get bending down to because even just
You
to
always
pick up
bend
the
down.
door.
Yeah, just to put on the door, you're bending down to put all your dishes in there.
But even when you're like done, all the dishes are in, you slide the drawer in, the door itself is on the ground. You literally have to go all the way to the ground to pick it up.
So it starts, I think the bottom of it is counter height, and then you pull the door down, and now you can just literally.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't know about that high, but
maybe a little bit lower.
Yeah.
I think it's a fine tune. You kind of, but I mean, not on the floor.
Yeah,
that's just it. But
and I don't like the skirt on a kitchen, especially on an island. For me, you're right. One, you lose so much space. You literally lose 6-8 inches, which means all your drawers are from your 3
knives,
drawers.
That's where your knives are. That's where your utensils are. That's
I don't like it personally.
The thin drawers there. You unless that lip comes out.
But I guess that's the whole point, right? That's the beauty of a designer. They can show you options. You do what you like. So some people love that. They probably look at it and go, absolutely, I see more stone. I see less cabinetry. I love it. I want that. Me and you, I guess I personally don't. I like the storage.
The functionality, yeah.
I also don't have a big kitchen. I like having as much space as I can get. So we've designed our kitchen to allow for as many drawers and doors that we can get, so that we can get all of our pots and pans. I just don't have. The kitchen we had prior to this reno I had no storage whatsoever. It was horrible. We were piling stuff on top of the other, so it was trying to get a pot was like pulling 6, 7, 8 items out first, get that frying pan, then put everything back in. And then now it's so much easier because I have that space. You put a 6-inch space, your first drawer is gone all the way across. So yeah, I don't like it personally, but
just for stone,
to each his own.
Doesn't matter. But I would say if any clients are in the market for doing a kitchen or anything that has to do with stone, if it's a shower or whatever, applicate fireplace, whatever, start inviting your ass to friends' homes and just kick the tires. See what little things that they done work and what don't work.
We also do the same thing with us. Like I will go that extra mile. We're a little different in how we do things. We want to go through that stuff. We want to show people. We find out a little bit more about what they're doing, what their ideas are, and maybe throw in those couple of ideas, especially when they don't have a designer. If they have a designer, I try not to step on anyone's toes. I may throw out a couple of things at the designer themselves, so that I was talking to the client when they were here. They were looking at this kind of stone. They were thinking maybe this. I didn't say anything, but you know what? You might want to broach the subject. But giving people ideas is part of the job, part of the process. It's not to say that your idea is right or your idea is going to be used. They might say, no, it's a horrible idea. I don't like it. But that's not the point. Your point is to educate as much as you can so that when people come with a design on stone, I don't have to say, I can't do that with stone.
Yeah.
I've had drawings that look pretty on paper, but you cannot do that in stone. Or you can with a giant risk. And unless the client is willing to buy slab after slab because you're trying to test a theory that I'm telling you has a really high probability of failure, then why do it? Like unless that client's saying,
you've got a bank account, sure.
Yeah,
you want to take
a
risk, take it.
Spend as much as you want. Buy 20 extra slabs and do what you got to do. But working with stone for as long as I have, I know what can and can't done, or what the possibility or probability is that something like this will happen, whether it be chipping or cracking, just by doing it in a certain way.
And they should take your cue on that, right? Like you've been down. It's not your first canoe trip, right?
Exactly. I mean, I try. I've seen almost everything, but the great thing about my industry, I'm always learning. Quartzite is one of the more popular new colors or products, but it's not new, obviously. But quartzite's selling so much more now. Quartzite is, and I just posted on Instagram recently, when clients figure out that quartz and quartzite are not the same thing. And that's shock.
Quartzite is different.
Most people don't, when they hear quartzite, they think quartz. The word itself has not penetrated, and I can't even blame them. It's not their industry. They don't do this every day.
It's like the food industry just changed the name aspartame. They're calling it something else now. It's called Aqua Sweet or something like that.
Oh, no way.
They're changing the name because it's already been proven that it's not healthy for you. So they're changing the name. I'm like, you're a moron, right? But that's the difference. I was going to say very rarely when I'm scrolling through social or I'm seeing kitchens and stuff like that, because let's just be honest, the kitchen is the hub of the industry that is ever evolving on an annual basis, if not quarterly basis, of new ideas coming in. And what I don't like is that I can look at kitchens and I'm like, North American, North American, North American, North American, North American, European.
Yep.
You can see.
You're absolutely right.
There's a difference between Asian, European, South American kitchens versus North American kitchens.
Yep.
I think North American kitchens are designed for photographs. I think kitchens in Japan and Asia and Europe and South America are designed for cooking and gathering function.
You're absolutely right. I'm constantly seeing these incredible ideas. Push button that the cabinets will come down, the upper cabinets will come down, and there'll be plates and cups and stuff, or drying racks above the sink, built into the upper cabinet. I've seen a lot of European kitchens with that. When we did our trip to Italy with the family last year, a lot of those kitchens that we Airbnb'd it everywhere had all of them, had those things. So these little tiny things that for some reason have not sort of taken that trip across the pond to here, I don't understand why. They're great ideas.
I see them online.
And there are some companies here in Toronto that actually do sell European kitchens, whether it would be German or Italian. Like there's like a lot. But you're right. It's not seen well enough. It's like
I saw an American company do the drying rack thing. Mm-hmm. You know where they put it? They put it on the top part of the whole counter. Oh. So you pull out this thin drawer and it's all drying rack, right? And over hardwood flooring.
Yeah. And then when that hardwood floor gets done after
so I just read some of the comments and everybody just attacked the hardwood flooring and it's over the sink. Over the sink is where it's got to go.
Yeah, of course. You need it to drain. That's the whole point of a drying rack.
So somebody took that idea from another country outside of North America and did it incorrectly here.
Yeah.
So it's a little frustrating because I start paying attention to the kitchens outside of North America.
I'm trying to follow designers and architects and builders all over the world. And again, that's the beauty of what we have today. This and Instagram and Facebook and
just sharing
and Twitter, and like you can see what's out there. It's just a matter of now translating that to actual use here. I'm hoping that people start taking that cue and come in, and some of this stuff is really cool and unique. I think
they got to do what you did. You got to do the trip. You take a trip and you just pay attention.
Yeah.
Some of the best kitchens I saw were in Japan.
Never been. I would love to go.
It was just a mix of wood and stone and metal, and I was like, not huge, but perfect.
Even as simple as I did a job 4 or 5 years ago, and they had hardwood going into the kitchen.
Okay,
but there was the kitchen was tile or stone, slab stone, and the hallway to it was hardwood. But it wasn't like just a slight hallway. It was quite a large space. So we cut stone in the exact shape and size of the hardwood.
Okay.
And we went and we did the same with in the stone itself and the floor. We cut it out for the wood. We made this incredible transition where it's stone and wood, wood and stone.
Yeah.
Stupid little thing. The client was ecstatic. She absolutely loved it. But you wouldn't have even thought, like, just put a threshold and you're done. This stupid little thing that just took nothing to do. We cut rectangles out of the stone. We cut rectangle holes into the stone. It was a beautiful mesh of those two products that I've not seen much of at all. I think this was maybe the second or third.
You've seen a lot of it in America, but it's done in hexagons, which doesn't work.
No, these were full planks.
I know, but it doesn't work with hexagons. And 2-3 years ago, all over social media, people were just like Jergens, lotion, and all kinds of fucking paper towels over this shit. And I was like, guys, that's dated from the time I've swiped. It doesn't look good. In hexagon, there's shapes. Homes are about shapes, right? So it's like the hexagon shape doesn't work in a design element. It doesn't work as a bridging. That what you just described, that works. I can see that on a stone countertop as well too. If you want to transition between a wood and a stone, cutting board to a stone.
That's what I was talking about earlier with the and we did it where we just water jet both, put it right together.
We have the tools.
Beautiful.
We have the tools
nowadays. Hell yeah.
It's like we're not building the pyramids, man. Like we totally
I don't think we could today if we wanted to be quite honest.
You don't have the machines coming from Italy or Germany or something like that to build them. They should know. They don't have them now.
I don't know.
Nobody ever questions the South American pyramids, do I?
And there's a lot.
Three-way the world. These little puppies. I'm speaking from experience. I've actually installed these and I love these. Three-way prefabricated inside drywall corner, the first one-piece solution for perfect, crisp corners every time. With three-way, you'll improve your quality, save on labor, and cut down on time. Traditional methods require 3 tapes, lots of sanding, and high skill. But with three-way corners, they install in just a fraction of the time with fewer steps. It is adjustable for any angle, reinforced to cover gaps, and designed to blend seamlessly into the corner. Say goodbye to pesky touch-ups and hello to flawless finishes. Try three-way today and revolutionize your drywall game. Perfect corners every time. To purchase or check out some how-to videos to see the installs in action, visit threeway.ca or connect with them at 306-514-3768 or drop them an email at threewaytheworld@gmail.com. Connect with me, TCL, and stop by the studio and get a free pack on us for anyone to try. And trust me, I'm telling you, you'll love it. This message is proudly supported by the Construction Life.
What do we got?
Aliens, baby.
Do we talk about everything? I think we talked about everything. What else? Is there anything else we got to talk about?
Maintenance. Well, we got into maintenance. There's certain you got to pay attention to. The man-made stones, they have their maintenance rules.
Of course.
The natural stones, there's different rules for each stone. You just have to be aware of it. Mm-hmm. It's not like a bulletproof granite. You can do anything. No, there's rules attached to that.
Of course, absolutely.
And then, just wet areas, kitchen areas. And I'm still a fan of, I think, kitchen floors should be stone. I'm sorry to say, but it should be some sort of stone. I don't like hardwood because of that wear and tear on the kitchen sink area. What do you think is going to happen when you're always standing at the kitchen sink there? Always doesn't matter.
That wear will happen, right?
In wood, it's going to happen.
People will shift. People move.
You're going to have the wear and tear work triangle. That's what you're going to have.
Yep.
Right. I like the idea that fridge panels are now being covered. I like that. As much as it depends on the kitchen you're designing. I still like the idea of stainless steel, but fridge panels are pretty big. Stove range are a different story.
Dishwasher front panels.
Yeah, I think getting rid of the dishwasher, not using stainless steel, that makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. Right. Whether it's elevated or whatever, that's fine. That works as well.
Just these little details, these little things that just tie in the beauty of what nature can give you in something that you wouldn't normally have used it for.
It is a big decision because it's the most expensive room that a lot of money and thought goes to.
Of course.
But it also does in your premier shower. If you're doing the master shower, you're always making it bigger. You always want less seams because you don't want to clean those seams. Mm-hmm. So you want to consider slabs.
It's the easiest, cleanest, and simplest way to do it. Unfortunately, yes, it's definitely a costlier way of going. You're buying a whole slab versus buying, the same amount of square footage in tile. The installation costs more, the material costs more, the labor costs more, everything about it costs more. But it's not a drastic enough difference that I would ever go to tile. I love the idea of full slab. There is a cost difference. It's definitely higher.
But when you break it down, though,
it's minimal.
They get pretty close.
Yeah, you're right. It is higher, but it's not that difference.
Yeah.
That much of a difference. And of course, you just got to find really good people that know what they're doing.
Does every client still? Well, we're going to do the bathroom. We're going to get the slab. What can we do with the offcuts?
All the time. Sink cutouts.
Sink cutouts. What can we do with the offcuts?
Like, we throw it in the garbage. Well, why don't you make cutting boards? We'd have to sell these cutting boards for $150, $200 each cutting board just to make money. They want a cutting board
out of the sink cutout for the sink.
So when we fabricated, sometimes we would just throw that in as a
That's what I didn't ask you, because I know some people are getting on the train of the sink integrated to the stone. So the sink being made out of the stone.
Yep.
You a fan? You like? I kind of like sink being a sink.
I do like it on certain applications. A powder room is for me.
Kitchen. What about kitchen though? Kitchen sink?
No.
I want stainless steel, really thick gauge, durable.
Exactly, and I want to be able to we will, you're cleaning out a bottle that you just dumped soup in for something. You go to the farm and you get those man-made. The jar's full. You drop noodles and everything down there, and you got to clean it up, and it's just such a mess. And stone, again, going back to the maintenance, you have to maintain. I like it in a powder room because it's easy. You don't have the toothpaste generally, or the stuff that you would have in a kitchen or a master bathroom sink.
Yeah, that's why it's a good.
That's I love it in that because you can show off again what stone can do. It needs to be waterproofed. You can use marble. We have our own showroom. We have a marble. The other thing is that I'm not a big fan of the slit, the tiny little slit in the back of the sink at the bottom as the drain.
I know.
If anything spills down there or you have to clean it, you cannot get to the drain.
Have fun.
Whereas
you got to dismantle everything.
What we did when we fabricated, and even now as a salesperson, I still try to push people to, when they look at ours and they want to do that sort of thing, the Schluter drain in the shower.
Yeah.
You pull the piece out, even the tileable Schluter drain.
Yep.
You pull the tile out, you can clean it, put it back in.
Yep.
Why not do the same thing in a sink, in an integrated sink?
Because they don't want a second line.
But it's just a piece of stone covering that
That's
drain.
what I'm telling you. The reason is they don't want a second line.
For me, I love the look still, but it's just so much easier and easier to clean because people don't look at the long run. You're right. They want that tiny little, it's almost like you don't even see where the water's going. Yeah. It's that magical beauty. And I get it.
Things will get clogged. People will, hair, whatever, all kinds of stuff will get clogged. And at some point you might have to fix it.
Yeah.
And how do you get to it then at that point?
I mean, I guess you can go from underneath and disconnect the drain and do all that.
That's what you're going to have to do if you go that route,
but it's
right?
just so.
But also, people don't realize that they can maintain their house on a regular basis, like throwing down vinegar and baking soda down the drain every month or so.
Yep,
kind of helps
quite a bit.
And people, I'm telling you right now, don't be using Drano. It's not the best thing to use.
Doesn't it actually affect the pipes?
The ABS.
Yeah, I thought so.
That's why, I need to start getting containers of baking soda these days. Between maintenance of the home and then cleaning fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, baking soda I like a lot.
Yeah, Costco, baby.
I'm not a Costco guy. Eh?
Nor am I,
I'm a
actually.
single guy. I don't have a whole family or whatever.
Yeah.
Who wants 25 of this?
And I can't fathom the idea of wrapping my arm around 100 toilet paper rolls to bring into the house. I mean, I know it's needed, but
do you know how much I gotta drop to use all this stuff, man? Cava Surfaces. I gotta stop by and take a look at the place, man.
Absolutely.
Where is it? The address again is 136 Tycos. Yeah.
Correct.
www.cavasurfaces.ca, IG Cava Surfaces, Massimo at cavasurfaces.ca, and 416-669-7691. You ready for the 12 questions of construction?
I will do my best. I know a lot about stone, not a lot about construction, but go for it.
I can change it to stone. What is your favorite stone word or phrase?
Oh, wow. Favorite stone word or phrase? We didn't quite touch a lot about it. Quartzite. The product is incredible.
It is. I agree with it.
It's a beautiful natural stone.
It's expensive stone though too.
No, not necessarily. We have inexpensive
stone?
quartzites, durability's sake, and it's the approximation of marble while still being as durable as granite. It's the perfect product.
I still love marble. I like marble.
Yeah, I agree. I do too. I have
no
issues with the
I like
patina.
marbles. I like quartzites. I'm a natural boy.
So agreed.
What is your least favorite tool?
Palm sander.
I haven't used one for. Yeah, it vibrates.
It's annoying. The sandpaper always comes off. It's like you're always. I hate using
Someone's
it
brought
when
that
I need
one
to.
up. What do you miss from your childhood?
The simplicity. Being able to do something without being worried that you're going to be recorded.
Oh shit! Yeah, I know.
The stuff that we did. Do you imagine if it was on camera?
Sometimes I would. I actually like it because I would want to have that memory,
Some of it.
so I can relive it and revisit it. And look at this shit. There's been a few things. This one, yeah, this has got to be construction. What construction sound do you love?
Hammering. Walking through a site, it's almost melodic. It's incredible.
Tum, 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 tum.
Yeah.
Then you see the jokers online that just have a speaker and they're playing it right while
Yeah.
they're just napping. What's your favorite beverage?
Coke Zero.
Coke Zero.
Yeah.
What is the difference between Coke Zero and regular Coke?
It's too sweet, regular Coke.
It's
Coke
too
Zero
sweet.
is zero sugar, and it's just a little bit simpler, softer. I like it.
I'm not a pop guy. I'm a San Pellegrino guy.
Well, other than that, water.
Yeah.
I don't drink pop very much at all.
What turns you on and off about stone?
Turns me on about stone is its beauty. Its uniqueness.
They are paintings.
Every single slab, even within a block, although they are very similar, they're a fingerprint in history. It's incredible seeing those quote unquote things in slabs that people complain about that look like they do not belong.
That's the best part.
For me, that's the one I want to accentuate that.
Yeah.
I want to show that off. I want to point it out on purpose. For me, I love that. What do I dislike about stone? The stone is an incredible product that has been misrepresented over time. It hasn't been used properly. It's I guess that doesn't really answer that specific question.
No, but we haven't even scratched the surface of what we can do with stone.
Yeah. And I mean, I dislike the idea that people do not use it to its full potential.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. Favorite curse word?
Fuck.
What's your favorite vehicle? Any mode of transportation?
I'm a driver. I've been driving since a month after I turned 16.
Yeah,
back before I graduated licensing.
A few months after, yeah.
I the second I could, I was driving technically before. My mom took me to the parking lot and some big mall and got me driving, learning. But
so, what's the favorite vehicle then?
Car, any car,
any car at all.
Yeah, I'm not a car guy.
Okay.
I cannot fathom.
There's no car in a parking lot that catches your eye. And you're like,
of course, like the what is it? The '63 Corvette. Like there's some beautiful colors. I'm a Ferrari. If I'm gonna be honest, I'm never gonna own one.
The newer Ferraris or the older Ferraris?
Older. The Testarossa, the '80s Ferraris. They're not as pretty. They're not as sleek, but they're, for me, I love them.
I think they're classics. They're beautiful. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt one day?
I love talking to people. I've always considered, and falling back on, which is a horrible thing to say because it's not, psychiatry, therapy.
I could see that.
Yeah,
I
love talking to people. I love getting to know people and what drives them. And
tell you, man, this show's kind of like therapy.
Oh, I believe it. And what you hear and the amount of different conversations and opinions.
What is recorded, what is not recorded.
Yeah.
I know. What profession would you not like to do, Massimo?
Anything with blood. Doctors.
You're in construction. You're in stone.
And I've bled quite a bit personally, and I've seen it as well. But
we all have.
Different. My wife loves those medical dramas. Cannot watch them.
I can't watch them.
No.
I can't watch
them. And they're getting realistic.
And they get realer and realer with each.
Yeah. Watching someone with their hands in someone's stomach or holding their heart.
Pulling out the heart. Dum, dum, dum,
yeah, no,
dum,
I can't. I can't watch it.
Last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at those pearly gates?
This may not be the funnest way to end this, but I'm atheist.
That's fine. I'm not forcing anybody.
I don't think anything. I don't think God's there. I think that's a man-made construct that was it did its job. It's doing its job. It's keeping
working.
People, laws and what's right and wrong is making people civilization go as it is. But as to the great beyond, no. Not really a believer.
To me, I'm the same way. It's a light switch. Shut off, down, gone. See you later.
There's been too much going on in the world because of religion, because of God, whatever name you put on them.
I agree. There's 37 gods, or I don't know how many gods there are.
So I believe in, and everyone believes in one. I believe in one less.
Perfect. Massimo, thank you so much, man, for making the time.
Manny,
are you going to the office now?
I'm heading to the office now. Yeah.
Playing Friday hooky kind of action?
No, I'm going to go in, write some emails, see if I can sell some more slabs.
I got to pass by. I'll see if I can pass by next week.
You're going to love it. It's beautiful. We've done a beautiful job.
You know that. I love walking around those and just checking out, look at the stones, and don't show me any of the man-made stuff.
I got an espresso with your name on it whenever you're ready.
There'll be a few. I'll be there for a while, man. That's it. Thanks, Massimo. We are out of here.